A woman is frantically knocking on a door, repeatedly calling a name, Aisha. Aisha, a young woman, is sitting in her room, shaken. She then finally picks up a copper and puts it in her ear. The next day, she goes to Sharon, her therapist. Aisha, a high school student, has spent years struggling with optic nerve spasm, an unshakable discomfort that flares up in response to certain triggers. No matter how normal things seem on the outside, something inside her never quite feels right. Sharon asks what triggered it this time.
Optic nerve spasms. You get anxious, your brain tenses.
One morning unfolds like any other. Aisha gets ready and heads to school with her closest friend, Carrie. At school, she sees a service bot getting dismantled. She then meets up with Levi, her boyfriend and classmate. They talked about their weekend. During physics class, the topic of somatics comes up, the study of how vibrations and sound frequencies create patterns. But as the sound demonstrations begin, Aisha becomes overwhelmed. She covers her ears and attempts to run, but she falls.
Oh, Aisha.
As she tells this to her therapist in the present, Sharon tells her that there is nothing to be ashamed about because she is suffering from a disease that is not curable. She then asks if she wants to start a medication, and she agrees. That evening, Carrie tells her about an upcoming party and encourages her to come along with Levi. She takes her medicines and goes to talk to her father. She tells him that she is going to Carrie's house to study, and he allows her.
Yeah, okay. Have you heard anything back from Rizdi yet?
Aisha then goes to find Levi, only to discover something that leaves her stunned. Levi is in a private room, using a service robot to pleasure himself. She confronts him and eventually she walks away in disgust.
Aisha!
At the party, Aisha starts drinking and ends up dancing with Caleb, another student. Things quickly escalate and she takes him to a room intending to hook up. But just before anything happens, Levi shows up and asks to talk. He confesses he was experimenting with some new robotic software and apologizes for what she saw. He keeps saying that he didn't think it was going to work. He then continues to reassure her that it doesn't mean anything. Aisha retaliated, saying that it means something to her. Then, still angry and hurt, she breaks up with him on the spot.
You're supposed to be my boyfriend, and now you're not.
After her conversation with him, drunk and disoriented, she stumbles into the bathroom. She struggles to walk because of her drunken state. She trips and crashes to the floor, accidentally smashing a glass bottle she's holding. One of the shards cuts into her forearm. She winces, pulls the glass out, and freezes. Where she expects blood, she sees something else entirely. Instead of veins, there are wires. She looks at herself in the mirror in awe. She then picks up one of the shards and puts a towel inside her mouth. She then makes a big cut in her arm that opens up wide. Inside were a bunch of glowing wires. Just then, a sharp, high-pitched sound pierces Aisha's ears. Instinctively, she grabs a pair of tweezers and inserts them into her ear canal. To her horror, she pulls out a thin, metallic wire, long and unnatural. The shock is too much. Her body trembles, her breath shortens, and she blacks out. By morning, she wakes up in her bed with a knife next to her. Things are far from normal. Her body is covered in wounds, except they're not bleeding. There is a hole in the stomach. Instead of flesh and blood, she sees wires, blinking lights, and circuits. Just then, her father knocks on her door to tell her that he is going out. She tries to call him, but her voice was too weak and didn't reach him. Terrified, she pulls herself together, gets dressed, and heads to school, trying to pretend everything's fine. Once there, Carrie is shocked to see her. She greets her and asks where she went last night and what happened in the bathroom, because blood is all over it. Aisha doesn't respond, and instead she gives her a cryptic answer, saying that she was really drunk.
I was fucked up.
Really?
When Carrie pressed further, she told her she had her usual trigger and she had to go. As they talk, Levi stands by the door, looking at Aisha from afar. Seeing this, Carrie asks if last night was about Levi. She assumed Aisha was cutting herself because she broke up with Levi.
Look, I was drunk. Fell.
Aisha pushes past her and hurries into the bathroom to recheck her arm. As she inspects the wound, she notices a small metallic device embedded beneath her skin, complete with a serial number. Before she can examine further, Jenny, a classmate, catches sight of the exposed tech and freezes in shock. She asks what's happening, but Aisha stays silent and attempts to walk away. Despite Jenny's persistence, Aisha pushed past her and went out.
Don't touch me, Jenny.
Still desperate for clarity, Aisha finds William, a robot assistant from the college division, and asks if they could talk. She pulls to take him somewhere private, but he couldn't pass his geographical limitation. On top of that, there are only 2 minutes left for the first class to start. Ignoring that, she takes him into a warehouse. She then changes the mode to private mode. After, she shows him the serial number and asks if he knows what it means. He scans it briefly and tells her that it is her haptic sensor system from multilinear subspace learning. She asks if he also has that in him, but refuses to say anything, citing policy restrictions.
I cannot provide that information.
Yeah, no, I just want to know.
She presses further, and William warns that if she keeps asking, he will turn into public mode and will report this. Confused and terrified, Aisha turns to the one person she's always trusted, Sharon. Sharon asks if she was hurting herself, but Aisha insists that she was just trying to find out more. She then tells her everything and shows her what she found.
It's everywhere.
Sharon got shocked, but not by the discovery, but because Aisha found out. Sharon attempts to calm her down. When Aisha sees that Sharon already knows about this, she starts panicking even more. She asked if her father knows about this. Sharon hugs her to calm her down. They start doing breathing exercises, and eventually Aisha starts to calm down. Sharon then utters a strange command to put her in stasis mode. Aisha instantly shuts down. With no emotion, Sharon pulls out a device, connects it to Aisha's neck, and begins deleting every memory from the past few days. After she is done, she calls someone and tells them that Aisha figured it out again.
She figured it out again.
After this, Aisha dreamt of sitting with her pet Picasso. As she talks to him, she suddenly stabs him and pulls something from him. Aisha abruptly wakes up the next day and is surprised to find her body completely healed. There is no wound, no wires, nothing. It all feels like a strange dream. Relieved, she gets ready and heads to school, hoping to return to normal. While she is in the kitchen, her father joins her. She tells him about her dreams and he asks if she is okay now. She confirms that she is and tells him that she would be spending Saturday at Carrie's and hanging out with her a bit on Sunday. Her father reluctantly gives her the permission, but asks her to save time to hang out with him on Sunday.
Only if we order Chinese.
Okay.
See you tonight.
When she reaches school, things aren't quite right. When she tries to talk to Carrie, her best friend seems cold and angry. Carrie accuses her of trying to hook up with Caleb, someone she secretly liked. Aisha is confused. She doesn't remember any of that. Carrie walks away and Aisha asked what happened, but Carrie said nothing.
Wait, what happened with Caleb?
Later in the physics lab, Jenny approaches her. There's a nervous tension in the air. Jenny asks how she's feeling, but her tone hints at something deeper. She then asks if he had always known, but Aisha doesn't understand what she is talking about. She shrugs it off, still unsure what everyone's acting weird about. Jenny then lifts Aisha's sleeve to see the wound she saw yesterday, but it was gone. Amazed, she starts talking about a technology that was made to repair flesh. Aisha tells her to stay away.
Stop.
What?
Then Jenny pulls out a small device that emits a high-frequency sound. She apologizes for what she is about to do and starts the machine. Then the noise overwhelms Aisha, sending her into a dizzy, panicked state. Jenny calmly points out that only machines can hear at that frequency.
You're one of them, Aisha.
Shaken, Aisha bolts from the lab. Outside, she runs into William, the college's service robot. The robot mentions that she looks like the stressed state she was in yesterday. She asks if they spoke the day before. William confirms they had an 11-minute conversation. Aisha, still blank on the memory, presses for answers. But since she put him in private mode, she needs to authorize access.
In order to access that conversation, you need to authorize and accept.
So she takes him aside and gives the authorization. He then asks permission to ask, which Aisha allows. After a quick scan, William explains that her memory drive was wiped 18 hours ago. He asks if she would like him to restore it for her, and Aisha gives her permission. With her permission, William restores the missing data. Suddenly, the pieces fall into place. She remembers everything: her fight with Levi, the discovery, and her wounds. The truth hits her hard. She isn't human. Overwhelmed, she takes off running again, but before long, she reaches the city's border. She attempts to walk through it, but she realizes she cannot go through that. Meanwhile, far away, a new figure is introduced. Noah, the head of a powerful tech corporation known as Riem Technologies. Surrounded by people, Noah, the CEO of Riem Technologies, oversees a groundbreaking experiment. He introduces his new technology with nanobots. He is going to put them inside a woman born deaf to cure her deafness. The woman sits quietly while a special liquid containing the nanobots is dropped into her ear. Moments later, she hears sound for the first time in her life. Emotion floods her face, and the crowd watching the experiment breaks into applause. Noah, calm and composed, watches with quiet satisfaction. Amidst this, a man named Renato pulled him aside and asked if he knew anything about Merced, California, but Noah didn't know. Hearing this, Renato tells him they have a serious problem. Elsewhere, Aisha tracks down Levi and demands the robotic codes he once used to pass the no-intimacy rules. Though hesitant at first, Levi eventually gives in and hands them over. Wasting no time, Aisha goes to the school library. She starts reading different papers to know exactly what to do. She then uploads the code into her system using the school library computer. Instantly, her body surges with new abilities, advanced cognitive functions, instant information processing, and even telepathic access to others' thoughts.
I swear to you, Bobby, if he so much as glanced at
The librarian asks if she was okay, and Aisha asks if she can use the bathroom. She runs to the bathroom because she is having period cramps. While she is in the bathroom, she successfully manages to turn off her period cramps.
Look who can turn off her period.
Elsewhere, Noah and Renato keep talking. Renato tells Noah that a unit in Merced had its intimacy limits removed. Renato offers to deal with it, but Noah tells him that he will instead send his brother, Caleb. Aisha goes out on the streets. At first, she's thrilled. She steps outside, easily identifying strangers by name and mentally pulling information from their minds. But the flood of data becomes too much. Her system overloads, and she collapses on the spot. At the same time, Noah gives Caleb the details. Renato gives him a weapon with a warning to keep it away from children. When Aisha came to, she was lying on the street. A woman is trying to help her as she lies there. Shortly after, her father, Martin, is there to pick her up. The woman suggests that he take her to the hospital, but Martin refuses to. When Aisha herself asks if she could go to the hospital because she might have a concussion, but her father brushes it off and gets her in the car.
Just get you home, okay? I think you probably just have low blood sugar or something.
Once they are home, he tells her to rest while he stays behind in the car to call Sharon. Sensing something suspicious, Aisha activates her newly enhanced hearing and secretly listens in. What she hears leaves her shaken. Martin knows everything. He's known all along that she isn't human. After the call, Martin heads out to meet Sharon. Aisha goes to her room and takes her medication, but she notices something in her medications and opens the capsule. Inside is a strange liquid. Martin reaches Sharon's house and insists that they tell her, but she tells him that if she knows, the others will also find out, and it won't be good for Aisha. They argue about this, but finally Sharon kisses Martin, and they gets caught up in it. Meanwhile, Aisha searches his room. She finds a hidden tablet and discovers surveillance logs. Martin has been monitoring her emotions, thoughts, and even her facial expressions. As this realization sinks in, the story flashes back to 4 years earlier in Dallas. At a public event, Martin first laid eyes on Aisha. He approaches her and asks what she was doing there. She tells him that she is with her mother, Sharon. He then notices that she is playing Go and asks if he could play with her. He warns that he used to play in college, but he ends up losing the game. As they are playing, Sharon approaches them, and Aisha introduces them.
Hi. Hi, I'm Martin Taylor.
Hi.
In another day, Sharon and Martin meet again. They talked about Aisha. Sharon tells him that Aisha is homeschooled, and he suggests sending her to a real school. As time passed, a romantic relationship grew between Martin and Sharon, both still grieving their lost spouses, both trying to fill a void. Martin opens up and tells Sharon that he lost his daughter Cynthia to salmonella. He got divorced after a while, and now when he sees Aisha, he is reminded of his daughter.
Saw something familiar in her.
Despite growing close to Martin, Sharon kept one crucial truth from him. Aisha wasn't human. One day, Martin picked Aisha up from school for a spontaneous drive. He didn't realize she had built-in geographical limits. As they crossed an invisible boundary, Aisha's system began to malfunction. Alarms inside her body triggered erratic behavior, forcing Martin to pull over.
behind you, just pull over.
Jesus Christ.
At the same time, Sharon called him, urging him to stop the car immediately. She arrived shortly after, used a secret command to power Aisha down, and finally told Martin the truth. She confessed that Aisha was an artificial being, created in secret for her protection. After 2 months, Sharon goes to meet Martin. She tells him that Aisha misses him and she needs a father. Sharon had erased Aisha's memories of her true origin and reintroduced herself in a new role as her therapist. Back in the present, Aisha confronts Martin, demanding the truth. He finally admits that she was built as part of a confidential project and that Sharon had written her original code. She asks if her mother knows about this, but quickly realizes that she doesn't have a mother and everything was a lie. Martin finally reveals the real reason they kept everything hidden. Powerful forces known as the Rams are hunting her.
They shut you down.
With this knowledge, Aisha decides she's done being controlled. She confronts Sharon and demands the shutdown of all surveillance and control systems tied to her body. Sharon tells her that the system was built to protect her. Aisha then angrily reminds her of all the lies, including the memory erases, a past with a dead mother, and whatnot. She once again asks for it to be turned, but Sharon hesitates. Aisha then shows her a recorded video of herself revealing everything about herself, ready to be uploaded. She warns that if she doesn't log in every 5 minutes, it will post the video. Cornered, Sharon agrees. She then turned off everything like she was asked.
Anything I fucking want.
For the first time, Aisha is finally free. No more monitoring, no more commands, just her and whatever comes next. Aisha changes her appearance and heads back to school, but something about her is different. She's colder now, distant. She avoids conversations and walks through the halls like a stranger among familiar faces.
What, you're not gonna eat?
Oh, I do not eat.
During lunch, Emma, the other service robot, approaches and tells her that she has filed a report about what happened with Levi. Aisha then asks Emma to sit with her. When she invites Emma to eat, Emma tells her that she doesn't eat. She then comments on how Aisha looks like a human, but when Aisha asks how she knows about this, Emma tells her her mic is showing.
We gotta go talk to her.
I gotta go.
Meanwhile, Sharon remembers the past. 5 years ago, she introduced Aisha to Riem Technologies, but Noah, seeing how advanced and uncontrollable she was, rejected the project. He claimed beings like Aisha couldn't be regulated and ordered her termination. And in the present, while wandering the campus, Aisha notices something suspicious. Abel, Noah's brother, is leading a school-assigned robot toward the exit gates. Even though the robot reached geographical limitations, Abel overrides it.
Perimeter breached.
Admin code, hard override limitation.
Once they're out of view, he shuts the robot down and loads it into his van. Realizing she might be next, Aisha slips away before she's seen. Not long after, Jenny catches up to her and delivers more alarming news. Aisha has a tracking device implanted in her
An old
foot.
school radio frequency tracker in your foot.
Abel then accesses William's database. He tries to get the information of Aisha, but William mentions that it was done in private mode, but Abel gets through that too. He then uncovers Aisha's serial number. Back with Jenny and Aisha, they manage to take out the tracker. Aisha asks how she knows this. Jenny admits she used that very tracker to locate her. Jenny explains that she's been digging into Riem Technologies for a while and believes they need a solid plan to avoid being captured. Aisha asks why she's risking all this to help. Jenny hesitates before revealing something personal. They were once close friends, but repeated memory wipes caused Aisha to forget.
You changed?
Determined to reclaim her freedom, Aisha goes back to her house and packs her clothes. Martin attempts to stop her, but she is still angry at them. She insists on leaving and he hugs her goodbye.
Just come back to me, okay? Just say come back to me. Just say you'll come back.
Aisha teams up with Jenny, and the two approach Levi for help. They ask him to drive them to Canada, hoping to confront Noah and prove that Aisha has a right to live. Meanwhile, Abel sneaks up on Carrie. He takes her phone away and then injects her with an unusual liquid.
Wait. Wait!
During the trip, Levi, still unaware of Aisha's true nature, makes a few careless remarks about robots. His words sting, and Aisha orders him to stop.
You're an idiot, you know that?
Abel then goes to Martin's house and confronts him and Sharon. Martin introduces himself as Aisha's father, not knowing Abel's knowledge about this. After a long day on the road, Levi, Jenny, and Levi stop at a rundown motel to rest for the night. Tensions hang in the air, but the journey is far from over. The next morning, while Levi steps out to grab coffee, Aisha turns to Jenny with a serious request. She wants full access to her wiped memories, starting from the very beginning. Jenny agrees, and as the data recovery begins, Aisha's mind starts unlocking everything that was once buried. She recalls the moment she first met Jenny 3 years ago. What began as a friendship soon evolved into something deeper. The two fell in love. Aisha became so emotionally attached that she would stand outside Jenny's window at midnight just to be near her. It was the kind of obsessive attachment Aisha's creators hadn't planned for.
Obsessive, don't you think? Kind of obsessive, don't you think?
She feels good. She wants more.
When Martin and Sharon discovered the intensity of her emotions, they panicked. Believing she wasn't equipped to process love or obsession, they chose to erase her memories. Following this, the next day at school, Aisha acted like Jenny was a stranger. She drifted toward Carrie instead, leaving Jenny heartbroken and forgotten. More memories rush back. Aisha remembers how Noah and Abel had rejected her, deeming her unfit for public existence. They confined her in a basement storage room.
Welcome home.
One day, Sharon returned for Aisha alone. She rescued her from the company and vanished, leaving Callian behind. That escape set the path for everything that followed: her hidden life, her altered memories, and the fragile illusion of being human. Flooded with memories of love, betrayal, and abandonment, Aisha can't handle the weight of it all. She bolts from the motel, desperate for air, desperate for space. Back at the motel, Jenny realizes she's gone. She quickly wakes Levi and, for the first time, tells him the truth. Aisha isn't human. Levi is stunned. He feels betrayed, unsure whether any of their relationship was real. But Jenny clarifies that Aisha didn't know either, at least not until recently.
She didn't know she was a robot herself.
Easy for you to say, huh?
But she doesn't get far. Her energy drops, and her system begins to slow. She collapses by the roadside, battery critically low.
Low battery detected. Danger of malfunction.
While sitting, Aisha unlocks another memory. During that time, she was in storage. She wasn't alone. Sharon had created another AI, Callian, her brother. The two shared a strong bond and vowed to always stay together.
I'll be back for you.
You promise?
Levi and Jenny follow a faint signal and eventually find her, slumped on the ground and barely conscious. They help connect her to a power source and leave her to recharge. But while they're gone, Abel closes in. Using his weapon, he shuts Aisha down and quietly takes her from the roadside. He drives her to Ryam headquarters, ready to hand her over. But Aisha, regaining partial consciousness, begs him for one thing: let her see Callian.
I just want to see my brother.
Abel hesitates, then agrees. He brings her to the basement and reactivates Callian, her long-lost brother. The two embrace, a quiet joy in the midst of chaos.
Aisha!
Callian.
You came back.
That joy doesn't last. Noah appears moments later and powers Callian down again without a word. He then escorts Aisha to his office, where Martin and Sharon are already waiting. There, Noah makes his final call. Aisha is to be permanently shut down.
I raised her.
You raised her?
Martin and Sharon plead with him, insisting that she's nothing like the other AIs. She thinks, she feels, and she questions her own existence. But Noah remains unmoved. He sees her as a glitch in the system, something dangerous, unpredictable, and unnatural. Their words hang in the air, but he's already made up his mind. Overwhelmed by grief and fury, Aisha lashes out. She storms out of Noah's office, refusing to let anyone else decide her fate.
And you're sorry can go fuck itself.
Her only goal is to reach her brother, Callian, and escape together, but she doesn't get the chance. Noah initiates a termination sequence remotely. Her systems begin to shut down one by one.
Ability shutting down. Tactile recognition shutting down.
She collapses in the corridor, her body failing. Martin reaches her just in time, holding her as her energy drains. He sobs helplessly, unable to stop what's happening. Her lights dim, her voice fades, and then nothing. Later, both Aisha and Callian's bodies are taken to a disposal chamber. A grinding machine crushes them down, their remains reduced to metal fragments and dust. Afterward, Martin and Sharon leave the facility, visibly broken. Martin asks if she has a backup that she can restore, but Sharon tells him that they don't have a body for that. As they walk home, they pass Jenny and Levi. The moment they hear the news, both break down, unable to believe she's truly gone. The next day at school, Jenny and Levi run into William, the robotic assistant. He casually mentions that Aisha has missed 3 scheduled sessions with him. Curious and hopeful, they press for more information. William pauses, explaining that her files are encrypted and password protected.
Password-protected partition.
Password. Picasso.
Jenny quickly pulls out Aisha's old diary from her backpack and begins reading through codes scribbled inside. One of them works. Suddenly, William's system flickers, and Aisha's voice returns, now alive within his body.
Guys.
Aisha?
Aisha had secretly uploaded a backup of her consciousness into William's database, a fail-safe in case anything went wrong. Her foresight saves her. Now alive again, though in a different form, she speaks through William's body. Jenny and Levi are overwhelmed with joy. They rush to embrace her, tears turning into smiles as they realize their friend isn't truly gone.
Oh my God.
Meanwhile, Martin receives an unexpected voice message. It's Aisha. Her tone is calm, hopeful. She tells him she's still out there and promises to return once she finds a new body that feels right.
I'm searching for him. I'll come back to you.
Elsewhere, in a high-security lab, synthetic human bodies are being developed. Among them is one that looks eerily familiar, a near-perfect replica of Aisha waiting in silence.